much, Arthur. Yes, welcome to Hampden. It really is a magnificent setting in the sun this afternoon. Both sets of supporters relishing the occasion to the full. And there's the usual introduction, the ball boys coming out first. Then out comes Graham Souness wearing his tracksuit top as the Rangers manager. He'll also be in the dugout because he's been named, or he's named himself as a substitute. So the two teams emerge to a tremendous reception. There's Davy Cooper and Billy Stark, these experienced players on the bench. Richard Gough coming out. Here's Bob Valentine coming out to handle his last ever match, his third Scottish Cup final. He's 50 years old, retires after the match. And he was in charge in 1977 in Old Firm final, and again in 1984 when it was Aberdeen against Celtic. A great career for Bob Valentine, and there's the familiar lineup for the formalities before the match. The Rangers fans chanting Championes for their favourites, and Graham Souness out for the very first time in a cup final, either in England or in Scotland. He did tell us he won an Italian Cup medal for Sampdoria, but never has he taken part either in the FA Cup final or the Scottish Cup final. Same applies there to Terry Butcher and to Chris Woods. Gary Stevens, though, won a cup medal in 1984 playing for Everton against Watford. Richard Gough lost for Tottenham against Coventry 2 years ago. So going down the line of Rangers players, there's Ian Ferguson shielding his eyes, who scored the winner for St Mirren against Dundee United 2 years ago. And Mark Walters did also, enjoying his first major National Cup final occasion. So there's the Celtic manager, Billy McNeill, on the right. He has 7 cup winners' medals as a player in a very long, illustrious career at Celtic Park. Roy Aitken has played in 4 cup finals before this afternoon. Tommy Burns also loads of experience in cup finals. And Anton Rogan, there's Chris Morris, there was speculation about his future. Derek White back in the side. And the Celtic players with Peter Grant, who was so disappointed being left out last season through injury at the last moment. A very colourful sight as the SFA hierarchy go down the line. There's new president Peter Gardner is there. David Holmes, the chairman of Rangers, introducing Ian Lang, the Scottish Office Minister, to the players, together with Peter Gardner and Jack McGinn, the Celtic chairman, coming on at the end. And there are the linesmen. Ernie Walker there, perhaps in charge as SFA secretary at his last Scottish Cup final. The officials this afternoon, Bob Valentine with George Dunbar and Bob Mullen, the linesman. Now it's the turn of the Celtic players to be introduced. Jack McGinn organising himself to make the introductions. And Walker standing back while the players are introduced to Ian Lang and to the SFA president, a new president, Peter Gardner from Stirling Albion. So the players anxious to get these formalities over with, there can be no doubt about that. And Billy McNeill on the end, proud occasion leading out his team for a Scottish Cup final once again. There the massed pipe bands behind, Roy Aitken looking very relaxed and calm. Well, you really couldn't imagine a better setting. The pitch looking in magnificent condition, although the grass is a little bit longer than you would normally expect for a major final. The team's now breaking for the warm-up. White bands there, Billy McNeill makes for the dugout for a very tense 90 minutes to come. Still manages a smile as he takes his seat. So there's the Celtic players now lining up and warming up finally for the start of the match. Well, we know their lineup already. There it is, confirmation once again, and the news from their camp is that the central defenders will be Mick McCarthy and Derek White, with Roy Aitken adding some strength to midfield alongside Peter Grant and Paul McStay, with Tommy Burns on the left flank. And it's the 32nd birthday for Mark Miggy, who's enjoyed such a magnificent season for Celtic, scoring 19 times so far. And he, of course, has 3 cup winners' medals in successive years, 82, 83, 84, playing for Aberdeen. So Rangers, confirmation there of their troubles through injury. They have no Ray Wilkins, no Derek Ferguson. That's why Graham Souness is there on the bench. Mel Sterling is wearing number 5, but we expect him to play on the right side of midfield, with the centre of midfield occupied by Ian Ferguson and John Brown. So for Mel Sterling, a very important afternoon after his recent signing from Sheffield Wednesday, where he was coached early in his career by Ian St John. And he normally plays at right back, or did so before coming to Rangers, where he's played in midfield for most of his matches since coming north. Well, Roy Aitken has 3 Cup Winners' medals already. He was also involved in that incident in 1984 when he was ordered off against Aberdeen. And it was today's referee, Bob Valentine, who was in charge on that occasion. But Aitken looking forward to his 5th final. Graham Souness enjoying the warm-up, although he'll not start the match. He's out there on the field, and of course, with the SFA ban not applying to him when he's named as substitute, he can be in the dugout this afternoon. So there's the wonderful setting there of the fans behind in shirt sleeves. It really is very warm indeed out there, and the players will find that very testing. Well, Joe Miller's had a great resurgence in form towards the end of the season, wearing number 9, and he may well play through the middle, where he thinks he can play very effectively indeed. He's now persuaded Billy McNeil of that. And the Rangers and Scotland centre forward, Danny McCoy, is playing in his first Scottish Cup final. He's managed most of the honours in the game, apart from a Scottish Cup Winners' medal, and there can be no doubting his determination to put that right this afternoon. Well, Graham Souness heading for the dugout now. Walter Smith is still up in the director's box. Graham Souness standing there for the moment with Jimmy Nicholl on his left, the reserve team coach, player coach. So there's the sun-kissed setting for the 104th Scottish Cup final. It's the 13th Old Firm final. And referee Bob Valentine checking with his linesman to begin his last match in charge in Scottish football as Rangers will get the match underway. Well, the opening minutes expected to be very important indeed to make an impact on the play. There's Derek White making a good clearance from Kevin Drinkle. And indeed Rangers have sprung a surprise straight away tactically. They've left John Brown at the back with Stuart Munro pushing forward on the left side of midfield. So that's very interesting at this stage. With this free kick now to Rangers, Ian Ferguson will take it once the referee is satisfied about the positioning of the 2-man Celtic wall, Peter Grant and Tommy Bonds. Ferguson looping the ball in, it's headed away by McCarthy. Ferguson to Sterling. There's Anton Rogan with a headed clearance. So a throw to Rangers, that'll be taken by Sterling. A long ball into the middle, McCarthy challenged there by Butcher. There's Ian Ferguson to McCoist. There's Terry Butcher trying the long-range effort. Well saved by Bonner. Butcher racing back now into defence. So a very impressive opening there, Ian, by Rangers.
Very bright opening indeed, and I would think that when they get free kicks, corner kicks, you know, with Big Terry and Gofton up there, you know, the Rangers will be looking to try and find them.
Headed away by John Brown, wearing 10, but still.
Yes, but it's a good ploy, isn't it? Because McStay is a man that can make Celtic tick and look good. So if you can nullify him, then you're going a long way towards turning a game in your own favour. So it'll be interesting to watch and see, you know, if Monroe can do the job and keep McStay quiet.
So free kick to Rangers, a foul by Derek White, challenging for that high ball. The Butcher has a chance to go forward. Once again, Richard Gough staying back to take the free kick. McCarthy trying to watch that ball hanging in the air. There's Sterland. Well, Rangers playing with the benefit of the breeze. And this high ball played in by Gough, an awkward one hanging in the air there, and it was McCarthy who headed it clear straight to Sterland, who couldn't keep the volley down.
Neil Sterland, I was having a chat with him before the game, and although he's only played one game at right back, I think he's quite enjoying this role in midfield. But down in England, you know, he was a very aggressive player, very strong running player coming from the back, and I would expect to see him doing that this afternoon.
Celtic coming forward. Here's Roy Aitken with Mark McGee. John Brown going in with that powerful challenge on McGee. The referee gives the throw. Mark McGee looking for a free kick in vain. Aitken playing on the right side of midfield. Peter Grant in the middle marking Ian Ferguson of Rangers. There's Joe Miller. Running into Butcher. Here's Paul McStay. Back it goes to Grant. Well, he kept the shot down well, Peter Grant. Still to find the net this season. This isn't a bad effort, taking the pass from Paul McStay, and the shot goes wide. Still no difficult one for Chris Wicks to do in the match. Helped on there by Sterland. Here's Barnes. Drinkle collects. Brought down there by Anton Rogan. Well, Drinkle in a very tight corner here, playing the ball past the fullback and then being brought down. Well, Anton Rogan, the offender, and the free kick again entrusted to Richard Gough. He waits for Butcher to go into the box. Butcher's the target, all right. He's won it well. There's Aitken. The header forward by Aitken. And the early news coming from Wembley is that Steve McMahon has given Liverpool an early lead. Well, there's a very good start for you, Ian, for your old club.
Yeah, it brought a smile to my face, that one.
Well, one change in that information. Liverpool have scored, but the scorer was not Steve McMahon. It was the inevitable frontman, John Aldridge, who got the goal for Liverpool. Chris Morris going forward. There's John Brown looking for Monroe. That's won well by McStay. It's all very hectic for the moment. There's a good pass by Monroe. Drinkle on the run. That was intended, I think, for McCoist, but it's Anton Rogan who's gone across. And he had to slide in there to avoid a corner kick, taking a photographer with him. So Mark Walters with the throw for Rangers. Walters towards Sterland. Burns is the marker. That's a good turn by Tommy Burns. Long ball into space, but too far away from Joe Miller. Celtic playing a very rigid 4-4-2 formation early on, with Miller and McGee out front. A lot of hard work for the front men. Well, the shut-sleeve crowd enjoying this very fast start to the match. Brown playing it up the line, but McCoist can't reach it. Mick McCarthy sending it all the way back to Bonner. So Celtic now trying to make progress on the left. There's Rogan. There's McStay. Rogan towards Burns. Excellent control there from Burns, inducing that clumsy challenge from Gary Stevens. Referee Valentine has a word with the English international fullback. And it's a free kick to Celtic. McStay taking it short for Rogan. Stevens going with the header, it breaks to Aiken. And Goff calmly back to Chris Woods. Goff anxious to avoid the disappointment he experienced 2 years ago playing for Tottenham against Coventry in the FA Cup final, losing by 3 goals to 2. Also had the misfortune to be in one of those unfortunate Dundee United lineups. So the decision goes Rangers' way. McCarthy's clearance. Headed down well by Aiken. The challenge came from Ian Ferguson, but he showed his studs to Paul McStay, and the free kick's been given for dangerous play. No damage done on McStay, and it's McCarthy with the free kick. Mark McGee signalling for the ball. Aimed for Aiken. Controlled by Butcher. Sure-footed pass back by McCarthy. Goss header very accurate. Headed by Peter Grant, goes for the Rangers throw. McCoy's trying to turn with McCarthy. Here's Bonds. Determination in the face of Tommy Bonds. Linesman's flag is up. Throw to Celtic. Bob Mullen from Kirkcaldy is the linesman. There's McGee, challenged well by Stevens. McCoy's taken in the back by McCarthy. The referee allows play to continue. Joe Miller nodding it on, chasing his own header, but John Brown is across behind the central defence. Well, 10 minutes gone, but fairly untidy so far, Ian.
Well, yes, I think both teams just feeling their way a little bit, you know, trying to play themselves into the game. There's been nothing too exciting as yet. As you say, you know, it's going to be one of those games where they might feel each other out for quite some time before we really get the skilled players breaking their way into the game. You know, Mark Walters, for instance, not really had a touch at the ball at the moment, and we're all waiting to see what he can do. We're waiting to see what Joe Miller can do when he gets the ball at his feet. But I mean, that'll happen very soon.
Ball in there again for Kevin Drinkle. Played forward by Sterling from McCoy. He's very strong in possession, but it's Rogan who wins it from him. Aiken once again available on the right side of the Celtic midfield. There's Mark McGee. Now Bonds. Hefty challenge there by Sterling, adjudged fair by referee Valentine. The referee appears determined to keep the match flowing. There's Derek White. Good interception by Goff. An awkward one for Butcher with Miller challenging. Butcher did well. Stevens trying to bring Walters into play. Well, the defending players just content to clear the lines for the moment. Determined that they don't make any early mistakes which could throw the initiative to the opposing side.
I don't think Celtic are set out to play in the sort of cavalier manner that they did in the semi-final game against Hibs, if you remember, when they had a tremendous first half. You know, they're more patient, and I think they've probably thought about this, that you know, if they can bed themselves down early on in the game, really exciting way. If they can bed themselves down in the early part of the game, then they've probably got a better chance than charging at Rangers.
Well, that charge there by Kevin Drinkle almost brought problems to the Celtic defence. A great piece of goalkeeping by Pat Bonner, coming out smartly and managing to keep the ball inside the 18-yard box despite the claims of Drinkle. There's Burns with a header. Brown towards Ferguson. There's Stevens. Drinkle trying to get in behind White. Derek White did well. Kept his body between Drinkle and goal. Harris winning a throw off Walters. Neat turn by Miller away from Butcher. Burns is free on the left. Promising this for Celtic. Burns chipping it in. There's Butcher in the middle. Well, a little chipped pass was aimed for Joe Miller, but Butcher won that cleanly. Now it's with McGee. Aiken going back. Using Chris Morris supporting from right back. That's for McStay. Well, too much pace on the pass. It was McStay who made the opening with a run into the box, but Morris couldn't find him.
But he had lost his marker for McStay there, and if Monroe's going to do the job, then he's got to stick with him, and if McStay makes runs into the box, Jock, you know, he's got to follow him in there.
Burns and Sterling challenging, Grant and Ferguson together. Stuart Monroe making the challenge also on Grant. Bonner going for the orthodox long ball forward. Well won by Goff. Rogan lets it run, and it'll be Celtic who try to make progress with McGee. There's McCarthy. Aiken again. Under pressure from Brown. Aiken's header. Here's Joe Miller. He's away from Butcher. Miller shot off target, but quite clearly now Celtic are trying to use the pace on the ground of Joe Miller against Terry Butcher. An interesting ploy that, Ian.
Well, it's a very sound ploy when you think about it, Jock, because the one thing big centre-halves don't like is little nippy forwards around them, and Joe Miller is exactly that. He's a small fella and very quick, and if Celtic can get a ball into him, into his feet, I'm sure he'll give Big Terry quite an afternoon of it.
So a quarter of an hour of the cup final gone, still no scoring. And still going through the tense, nervous opening period. The game still to settle to any real pattern. A lot of respect being shown by both sides. And the 4-4-2 formation, still not much joy for the strikers yet. Butcher in the box for Goff's free kick. There's Walters. And Bonner calls to his Republic of Ireland teammate Mick McCarthy to leave that. Well, Bonner commanding his penalty area. Brown's header into midfield. Goes Ian Ferguson. Walters and Morris together. Tackle came from Stuart Monroe, who's not at all pleased that the referee has given the throw to Celtic. Morris and Walters debating the issue on the touchline. The referee Bob Valentine having a quiet word with both players as play continues. Touched on by Walters, but Roy Aiken is penalised for barging into the Rangers number 11. It's a free kick to Rangers, rather. Walters trying to get involved in the play. He's had a lean time of it so far, the way the game has gone. There's John Brown with a free kick. There's Goff. Joyce got his head to the ball, but couldn't cause any problems for Bonner. Away there by Butcher. challenging Roy Aiken. Butcher steps in ahead of Miller. McCoy's trying to control it under pressure from White, who did well. This is Aiken. Joe Miller has come off Butcher again, but he's firmly tackled by Ferguson. Joe Miller didn't relish that challenge by Ian Ferguson. Referee Bob Valentine saw nothing amiss. There's Paul McStay with his shadow, Stuart Monroe close to him. This is Rogan. McGee to Miller. Well, they couldn't control it on the run. But Miller has shown great ability in coming off the Rangers central defenders to take possession on the ground. McCarthy and McCoy together, a tangle between the two players. And the referee gives a free kick to Rangers. McCoy on the ground, we'll see why here. There's wrestling going on. McCarthy holding McCoy back. His arm caught McCoy about the face. The free kick's gone to Rangers. There's going to be some tussle this between Larry McCoy and Mick McCarthy. Now an opportunity for Rangers from a set piece. 4 in the wall for Celtic. They'll have to move a long way back. Well, ideally Rangers need a left-footed player for this one. Davy Cooper is on the bench. It would be ideal for him. A discussion involving Ferguson, Walters and Mel Sterland. There's Sterland playing it in low. Drinkle back to Monroe. No offside flag. There's John Brown. Trying to get away from Morris. McCarthy in plenty of space. Stevens across to Goff. He'll take no chances. Well, Mark McGee very close to him. Goff looking just a shade casual with a pass back.
Well, you see, the grass is a bit long, you know, Joe. We did talk about that before the match, and you know, the ball's stuck in the grass, and the players don't like it when it's just that little bit long. You know, they prefer it when it's shorter, where the ball rolls quicker on the ground.
Well, there's the aerial shot of Hampden Park, a very impressive setting indeed. There's where the action is on the field. Offside decision giving a free kick to Celtic. McGee looking for space up front. It's McCarthy's free kick. Goff commanding his defence. Drinkle to Ferguson. Here's Monroe. Now Brown. Put under pressure severely there by Paul McStay. Good challenge by Morris and Walters. This is McStay. Good running by Morris. Can he reach it in time? Well, the long grass didn't hold that one up.
The referee, you know, has allowed quite a few tackles from the back, and I'm just wondering if he's maybe just a little bit lenient now, because players are getting agitated. He's allowed about half a dozen tackles that normally you'd expect him to go for a foul. Now, I know he's wanting to keep the game going, and that is important, but we're now at a stage where if he doesn't stop it, you know, players start losing their temper, and the game could get really untidy.
Yes, indeed. Let's hope he doesn't have to start exerting discipline with any yellow cards early on. Here's a break from McCoy. The pass came from Ian Ferguson. Good running by Stevens, but Rogan was alert to that. And the goal kick is awarded by the linesman and acknowledged by the referee. Good piece of defending, though, by Anton Rogan, who anticipated that move very well indeed to make the challenge on Stevens. Winning it comfortably for Rangers. McCarthy helping it forward. There's Butcher again on McGee. Chris Morris with the long pass back. A lot of speculation about Chris Morris's future. Whether he'll be staying at Celtic Park or moving south. Leeds United being hotly tipped to make a bid for his transfer. Butcher under pressure from McGee, did well. There's McCarthy. Ian Ferguson finds Walters. The first real chance he's had to run at the Celtic defence. And the pace of Chris Morris equal to the task. Free kick goes to Celtic. Well, Walters looks inquiringly at the referee. Well, Walters is keen to make a break here, and he did seem to push into the back of Morris. Bit of climbing there by Richard Gough as far as the referee was concerned. He's really unhappy, Gough, about that decision. Joe Miller was the player he was challenging. Didn't appear to be a great deal in that. Certainly some frustration for Gough, and a set piece for Celtic to exploit. Shot from McStay to Barnes. Here's Rogan. Aikens at the far corner of the box. Brown was there for Rangers. Here's Morris. Aiken going wide. An obstruction by Brown. Roy Aiken appears to think that was deliberate. Brown makes no complaint about the free kick being awarded to Celtic. The crowded Rangers penalty box now. Mick McCarthy in the thick of it. Headed away by Butcher. Here's Paul McStay showing delightful control. McGee has the cross blocked by Brown. There's McGee. Great turn. Drinkle back helping in defence. There's Derek White put under pressure immediately by Ian Ferguson, and that's what forced the hurried ball forward.
Well, we haven't seen an awful lot of skillful football, have we? And controlled football. It's been a very scrappy game. In fact, it's only Paul McStay really that looks as if he can play a bit this afternoon. He's shown a bit of quality. But the others, it just seems to be, hash and a bash and just knock it forward and charge around.
So around the 25-minute mark, still no scoring here at Hampden. It's all very evenly balanced at the moment. And a bad knock in the face for Tommy Burns. Came from Mel Sterling. Now Tommy Burns wears contact lenses, so that could be particularly awkward for Burns. Well, an accidental blow in the face it was, undoubtedly. And Tommy Burns clearly looks in some trouble. Here was the ball played forward hurriedly by Sterling, right into the face of Burns. And with the contact lenses adding a little bit of extra concern to the Celtic bench, this is a moment of anxiety for Celtic. A very severe blow in the face from the ball, and Tommy Burns looks as though he's recovering quickly now. Well, this certainly would have sore one, no question about that. And happily Burns appears able to resume, and the contact lens remains in place. Stevens with a throw. Rogan's header. There's Sterling, well tackled by Grant. Drinkle getting back well. Breaks to Monroe. Here's McCoist. Drinkle towards Walters, who was caught offside. Mark Walters joining the front men for that move. Caught isolated there in offside position. Celtic pushing forward for the long ball, which really is food and drink for Butcher and Gough when it goes through the middle. There's Butcher this time. McCarthy winning it in the air. Here's Ian Ferguson trying to assert himself in midfield for Rangers. Tackled well by McStay. Brown up the line for McCoist. McCarthy steps in. Brown again, looking for movement for this throw. Walters with the run. There's Peter Grant. Long one for Miller to chase. Butcher wins it in the air. Brown couldn't keep it in play. Roy Aiken taking the throw from his role on the right side of midfield. Chris Morris playing it forward. Mark McGee caught in line with Richard Gough. The referee acknowledging the linesman's flag for offside and allowing play to continue with Chris Woods in possession for Rangers. Drinkle's header goes straight to Rogan. He returns that to Stevens. Well, it really is untidy play for the moment. McCarthy turns it back. Not vintage stuff, Ian.
Well, Gary Stevens giving the ball away there. I mean, that's ridiculous, really, at this level. You know, I mean, you've got to, when you've got that ball, you've got to keep a hold of it as a team, and neither side are managing to do that. But I did feel that Rangers would miss somebody in midfield who could really pull the strings for them, and that's what's happening. There's nobody there with the quality. You know, if Graham Souness, was a couple of years younger and playing in there, I'm sure we'd see a different game.
Drinkle with a pass, a good one for Walters to chase. Good control under pressure from Walters. He's still holding off Chris Morris. And it needed the help of Roy Aiken coming back to halt the progress of Walters. Well, that'll give him a little boost. Monroe looking for McCoist. That's good defending by Derek White. There's Butcher. McCoy sets off in chase. Oh, good play by McCoist. Here's Walters. Drinkle waits in the middle. Sterling arriving late, and Tommy Burns taking no chance at all, nodding that behind, really off his shoulder for the corner kick. So persistent play there by Ali McCoist, retrieving that ball at the byline, earning Rangers in the end the corner kick, which Mel Sterling will take. Butcher making for the centre of the penalty box. There's Richard Gough. Played away by Aiken. Here's McGee now. Celtic trying to hit in the break. Through the middle goes Grant. Nudging the ball away from Gough. A hefty tackle there by Gough on Grant. Roy Aiken looks irate. And referee Bob Valentine is going to have a word with Richard Gough. Well, Peter Grant made a tremendous run from defence when Celtic broke. And you'll see this now. There's going to be a booking for Gough. There was the high challenge by Richard Gough, and it will result in a yellow card being shown to the Rangers international defender. Well, the referee, who has been a little bit indulgent earlier on, now books Gough, and I feel a little bit of sympathy for the Rangers defender. Well,
I must say, I thought Richard Gough had travelled back, and it was really just a clash of bodies there going for the ball. Richard Gough must have ran, 60 yards from the Celtic penalty area, and I thought he was doing a good job getting back, and really I didn't think that was a bookable offence at all. I think that was purely accidental.
Well, Peter Grant has recovered, yes, I must say. I felt a little bit of sympathy there for Gough. He did appear to try to play the ball, but there's Kevin Drinkle going in firmly on Tommy Burns and inflicting a bit of damage on the veteran Celtic midfield player. The referee being invited to consider that carefully too by Tommy Burns. Kevin Drinkle was involved. Clearly Burns felt the studs were shown. The throw goes out. So it's Anton Rogan now with the throw. There's Joe Miller, played forward by Sterling. There's Chris Morris. Well, it is very important, I think, now, Ian, for referee Bob Valentine to keep a sensible grip in proceedings. If there's a sense of injustice among the players, there could be a little bit of a flare-up here.
Well, I was saying that before. I know he's got a difficult job. Obviously, it's not easy out there, Celtic Rangers, the atmosphere as it is, and trying to be, giving them partial decisions on everything, but you know, he's got to be careful here because the game could fire up.
So the clock showing we're past the 32-minute mark without any scoring, and without either goalkeeper, in all honesty, being seriously troubled so far. Sterling going in heavily on Paul McStay, and McStay took a very heavy blow around the chest. And that tackle from Sterling, which the referee is taking no action about. Billy McNeil clearly upset about that, and I must say there did appear to be a little bit of recklessness here on the part of Sterling. And they clashed here with McStay on the ground. Pat Bonner turned the ball out. The referee saw nothing worthy of a foul about that, and I have to say this is the kind of incident which can cause problems, because Mel Sterling did appear to be at best a little bit reckless in that challenge.
Well, here the challenge coming up, and Mel Sterling played the ball and then carried right through with his studs and caught McStay in the midriff. I would have thought it was a foul had I been a referee, but as I say, he's allowing the game to go on, and a lot of the clashes and tackles from the back, which, I mean, I've seen more tackles from the back here this afternoon than you see in a whole season down in England, I have to say that. And I think it's always bad for the game, because, you know, players are coming in there and getting whacked when they don't see the guy coming.
Yes, a surprising decision not to give a free kick there, all right, and the throw goes to Rangers. A little bit of nudging and pushing, and the ball was coming from Gary Stevens between Walters and White, giving the free kick to Celtic. Challenge there by Ferguson on Grant. Here's White. Good running by McGee. Goff getting back. A well-timed challenge by the Rangers defender. At the expense, though, of a corner kick. McCarthy goes up. Anton Rogan is also going into the box. Far flung corner. There's Roy Aitken, a good chance now for Celtic. The ricochet falls kindly, and ball goes behind Tom Butcher. Mark McGee looking hopefully for a handball decision. The ball ricocheted about the 6-yard box. Wow, real danger for Rangers here, and Aitken did well driving it across. It dropped back off the Rangers defence, and it was turned away by Butcher. There's Tommy Burns. There's Aitken. An awkward one for Woods. And turned over by the Rangers keeper as Mark McGee applied the pressure. Well, Woods did well, kept his eye on the ball to turn it over. Another corner to Celtic. Woods is committed. There's Grant to McStay. This is Anton Rogan. Neat sidestep. Ian Ferguson made a good tackle. This is White. He's away from McCoist. Peter Grant trying to control it. McStay again. Instant control. The pass finds Morris on the right. Walters being tackled by Morris, but it's Rangers in possession with Walters. Peter Grant getting back at full tilt now to make a tackle. And a body check there on Walters. Looks like a free kick to Rangers. Peter Grant covered a lot of ground to make the tackle. Well, a body check on Walters.
And a good right hook as well, I thought. I thought that was quite a nifty little one there from Mr. Grant. Could result in a bit of a black eye there for Mark Walters.
Well, a free kick it is to Rangers. It'll be taken by Brown. Held it away firmly by McCarthy, and it's back with Richard Goff. There's Morris. Aitken finding space again on the right side of midfield. McGee's made a run, but he's offside. The pass coming rather later than McGee wanted it. So So free kick to Rangers. Terry Butcher will take it. There's Trinkle getting a touch on from McCoist. Now Sterland. Stevens breaks on the right. Rogan goes to meet him. It's back now with Sterland. That's a very awkward ball. Well taken by Bonner. Joe Miller chasing across. But Brown, can he squat that for the throw? So John Brown, wearing 10, playing at left back. His Hamilton Accies position before being transferred to Dundee, where he became a midfield player, and then end that £350,000 transfer to Rangers. Frustration again for Celtic as that throw is given to Rangers. To Brown, and Brown had released that pass a long time before McGee went in, and the referee Bob Ballantyne is going to show the yellow card to McGee. Well, there's no question in recent minutes that the Celtic players have carried a sense of injustice about them, and McGee perhaps showing some frustration with that challenge, and obviously feeling a sense of injustice again about that booking, Ian.
Well, to tell you the truth, I just watched the ball being played away and I took my eye off Mark McGee, so I didn't see what he was supposed to have done.
Well, he certainly did come in late to take the feet from Brown. And it's perhaps symptomatic of Celtic's feelings about the way the match has gone from the refereeing position. Rogan with a throw. McGee not quite getting a touch. There's Joe Miller. Back with Burns. Goff stepping in ahead of McGee. Morris to Aiken. Well, Morris was intent on getting forward, but couldn't control it. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Still no scoring. There's the scoreline and an indication of the remaining 5 minutes of the first half.
In fact, Jack, we've never really looked like getting a goal, have we, in this half? It's been poor fare.
Well, the Old Firm League match is producing a barrel load of goals so far this season. 4 matches and lots of goals. McCoy's trying to get through, and Derek White holding him off. Well, White appeared to lose his bearings for a second there, but the ball coming to no harm in the end for Celtic. There's Richard Goff with the header to Stevens. There's McCarthy. Sterling's header. McCoist across to Brown. Trying to take on Aiken. The Celtic captain wins it but concedes the throw. Well, no, indeed it's a Celtic throw taken quickly. Here's Peter Grant. That's intended for Joe Miller. A great interception by Goff. Stevens in trouble. There's Joe Miller. 4 minutes from half-time. Celebrations begin on the Celtic bench. A dreadful error by Gary Stevens, and Joe Miller puts Celtic ahead. No problem there, it would appear, for Gary Stevens, and Miller wasted no time pulling that behind Chris Woods.
Well,
oh, what a disaster for Gary Stevens.
Is that not the second time in the game that he's given a bad back pass, Gary Stevens? That was dreadful, wasn't it? I mean, the ball just stuck on the grass here and set up for Joe Miller to slot in. A terrible mistake.
Well, Gary Stevens will have to overcome that. What a terrible error to make in defence in a cup final. There's the scoreline now. Joe Miller's goal, putting Celtic ahead. But here's Mark Walters. It's off the line by White. A miraculous stop on the line. Rangers hitting back instantly, and suddenly the cup final has come to life. The shot goes beyond Bonner. We fully expected that to go in, and Derek White appeared for the clearance. There's Mark Walters. Punched away by Bonner. There's Sterland. is preventing the corner. Oh, the Celtic, 2 minutes left, and that has suddenly become a hectic first half. Disappointing opening half hour or so. Suddenly the whole match has come alive with that Celtic goal, and look what these Celtic supporters think about it all. Well, they're here hoping to see Celtic prevent Rangers win the treble. Led in by Walter, that's over for a goal kick to Celtic. The noise you hear now coming from the Celtic end behind Pat Bonner. Thoughts will be going through the head of Gary Stevens, a very experienced professional, but clearly he'll be very anxious to see Rangers get back on terms. Full credit, of course, due to Joe Miller for the way in which he snapped up that chance. Kevin Brinkle working hard for Rangers, along with McCoist in a twin-pronged attack, looking for some Walters magic on the flank. Brown played it inside. Here's Ian Fergus. That's a good pass. Here's Gary Stevens. Well, I think he was attempting a shot at goal. It almost became a good pass for Ally McCoist.
That's exactly that. He was trying a shot with his left foot, which is not his good one. And had he even elected to pass there, he could have slid McCoist in with a pass.
First half for Gary Stevens. Roy Aitken with a header. Stevens goes to retrieve it. The Rangers, he makes it the throw. Well, the 45 minutes are over in the first half. There has been some time for injuries, notably to Tommy Bonds and to Paul McStay. Still 1-0 at Wembley for Liverpool, and 1-0 here at Hampden for Celtic, courtesy of Joe Miller. There's McStay towards Barnes, and there's Mel Sterling, but the half-time whistle goes. Joe Miller has separated the teams with that goal in 41 minutes.
Referee Bob Valentine is about to get the second 45 minutes underway. Celtic lead by that shock Joe Miller goal just before half-time. It's 1-0 as we go back to Ian St John, and first the voice of Jock Brown.
Yes, the second half here at Hampden about to begin, and there are certainly hopes here at Hampden that the quality of play in the second half will be a great deal better than the disappointing fare produced in that first half. The match certainly coming to light after Joe Miller cashed in that Gary Stevens error. And there's the goal scorer, Joe Miller. The Rangers clearly will have had some thoughts about how to turn the tide the second period. Very interesting, of course, the thoughts about the possibility of Graham Souness coming on. He has to consider, of course, the possibility of extra time this afternoon too, if he does come on. So he'll be weighing up, I've no doubt, how long he thinks he can last the pace. So turned away by Morris for a Rangers throw. Here's John Brown, away from Grant, trying to set up Ian Ferguson for a shot at goal. McGee back to McStay. Joe Miller drops back on the right touchline where he's so comfortable. Here's Grant. Good ball inside to McStay. Now Celtic putting some passes together. There's Tommy Barnes trying to link with Joe Miller. Now Stevens. White did well getting in front of McCoist. Well, even under that kind of pressure, McStay was trying to play football, losing out to Drinkle. There's Gary Stevens trying to send McCoist through the middle. Good play by Morris. Fine covering play by the fullback.
You know, when Richard Gough picked the ball up there was not a movement at all from any Rangers player, so he had to really just pump it forward and hope for something happening. There's no movement of the Rangers players when somebody picks up the ball.
Monroe tackled by McStay. Back with John Brown. That's for Monroe to chase with Morris, but Morris has enough pace. Stuart Munro battling hard to settle into that unfamiliar role for him, a midfield marking role. Always full of energy and diligence, but finding it difficult to pin down Paul McStay. There's McGee, it's turned away by Butcher. Rose pass back. Celtic will undoubtedly be very determined to hold their lead in the opening 10 to 15 minutes of this half in particular. Well, McCoist managed to remain onside by doubling back with the Celtic defenders, but that meant the ball reached Pat Bonner before he could get to it. Back it goes to Stevens. There's Drinkle, tackled firmly by Grant. Peter Grant playing for the moment with one boot. Well, plays it forward, the chase is on, but McCoy has been elbowed off the ball by Mick McCarthy.
Now, I think that was a bookable offence because, you know, here's a player running through into the danger area and he gets an elbow in the face. I think the referee's very inconsistent this afternoon.
That was Bob Valentine's last match in charge before retirement. Turned out to be a difficult one. A free kick to Rangers. McCoy certainly a hot handful for Mick McCarthy when he makes these runs from deep positions. There's Walters playing it towards Butcher. A collision between Butcher and McCarthy. Butcher clearly thinks he was fouled, but certainly with the collision didn't appear to be a great deal in it. So Mick McCarthy has survived that little onslaught. And Pat Bonner in no great hurry about the goal kick, keen to settle play down for his team. Aikens header, there's John Brown. Miller and Butcher go for the ball. Neither could reach it in time. Celtic with the initiative with this throw, which Roy Aitken will take. Morris returns a chance for the cross. Brown was in the way, and Celtic have a corner kick. Lots of movement inside that penalty area as Tommy Burns places the ball for the corner. Right to the far post, Woods looks in trouble. And McCarthy challenged all the way there by Terry Butcher, and just as well because Chris Woods appeared to be caught in two minds. Started to come and then changed his mind. Joe Miller taking that flick from McGee, robbed by Stevens. Skidding off the head of Morris. McCarthy did well, but this is Ian Ferguson. Fine header to Walters. Still Mark Walters. There's McCoist. Challenged by McCarthy. McCoist caught off balance. Well, they appear to think about taking a dive, Ali McCoist. This pass came from Walters, a good one at that. There was McCoist, couldn't control it. Headed down by McGee. Morris lofting it forward, up goes McGee with Butcher, who wins it. Drinkle gets his head to the ball, there's Rogan. And the pass back saved there by Pat Bonner. Good piece of goalkeeping. Certainly hasn't been called upon to produce too much by way of heroics this afternoon so far, Pat Bonner. Brown getting above Roy Aitken. There's Paul McStay. Finding Rogan in space. McStay wants it back. Burns. That was intended for Grant. It's collected goal by Drinkle. Now Walters. Celtic always have two men there. This time it's Morris and Grant. And a late challenge by Brown, and Peter Grant withstood that, and it's Celtic on the break. Here's Joe Miller. McGee on the left, Morris on the right, still Miller. Tried to do it himself perhaps. Robbed by Goff, and Stevens steps in. Good defending there by Richard Goff, standing his ground, facing his opponent, not diving into any rash tackle. Well, Graham SOUNESS now warming up. We may see him before very long. Going behind Pat Bonner's goal where the Rangers fans are congregated. Ferguson to Stevens. McCoy's trying to reach that, but it will run for a goal kick. This Morris settling in well after his recent appendix operation. Very quick recovery. Pat Bonner's view of the playing field. Played back well by Morris. No mistake there. Pat Bonner looking downfield at Celtic fans facing him. So towards Tommy Bonds. Sterling. Well tackled by Bonds. And the linesman says a throw to Celtic. The referee accepts that verdict. He's headed, there's Butcher and Stevens. A bit of an anxiety when he sends balls back to the goalkeeper after the error in the first half. McCarthy's header, there's Miller with a good header wide to Roy Aitken. It's Chris Morris. Aitken still there in support. Walters making the tackle. A beautiful play there by Paul McStay. He's brought down by Walters. Well, the man displaying the most skill undoubtedly this afternoon is Paul McStay of Celtic. Consistently involved in the play, not afraid to demonstrate his excellent close control and his passing ability. Free kick will be taken by Chris Morris. Headed away by Stevens. There's Aitken with Walters. McStay down to Morris. Aitken to McStay. The offside flag is up against Paul McStay. Linesman Bob Mullen from Kirkcaldy taking a little bit of stick from Roy Aitken and Paul McStay about that.
Certainly didn't look an offside decision from up here, Jock.
An awkward one for McCarthy, did just enough to ease the ball back to Bonner.
I'm just wondering how Rangers are going to get back into this game, because they don't look as if they're going to carve out any chances. It may have to be a mistake by a Celtic defender or whatever to allow them in.
Butcher through the middle. McCoy appear to be impeded there by Derek White. The referee saw no deliberate intention there. Perhaps felt that McCoy's run into White. So Davy Cooper now getting instructions from Graham SOUNESS. Clearly going to join the action very soon. Brown's hurried clearance. And here's the change. Off goes Mel Sterland and on comes Davy Cooper. That'll mean some reorganisation of the Rangers formation, I think. Sterland goes off, and Davy Cooper, who is the only survivor of the Rangers team which won the Cup in 1981 against Dundee United, comes on. McGee playing it back for McStay. This is Grant. Now Morris. Celtic settling to a better possession game in the second half. Knocker bounce beating Butcher. There's McGee. Now Chris Morris. Back it goes to Grant. The tackle was by Stevens. There's Paul McStay. And with an offside flag up against Peter Grant. That's some superb football again from Celtic. McGee playing it into Morris. He pulled it back for Grant. Stevens did well with that tackle. And then Paul McStay set up the shot for himself, but sent it wide of target. Joe Miller to Rogan. Signs now that Celtic are growing in confidence. Here's Tommy Burns striding forward, bundled down by Goff. Almost impossible to hear the whistle in this bedlam. And a free kick it is. And that positive run from Tommy Burns causing all sorts of problems for the Rangers rearguard. Well, Celtic looking more and more impressive now as the game wears on. Looking for a second goal, which would make life extremely difficult for Rangers. Chris Morris, the dead ball expert, waiting. The wall did its job. It's back with Burns, challenged by Walters. And the throw goes to Rangers. Headed away by Rogan. Rangers have made some ground, still have possession. Rangers now with Walters on the right and Cooper on the left. Gary Butcher's header goes White. Now Burns. Good pass to Grant, who took up good position. That's for McGee in the run, but the athleticism of Gary Stevens sorts that out for Rangers. McCarthy helping that back to Bonner. The 1 hour of the cup final gone. Celtic still leading by 1-0. The scorer Joe Miller in 41 minutes. And the latest position at Wembley is that Liverpool still lead by that John Aldridge goal in the opening minutes. Against Everton, they lead by 1-0. Here's Goff. Burns goes back, challenged by Drinkle. Celtic's throw. Things looking good, Ian, for Celtic at this stage.
Well, they're much more composed. You know, when they get the ball, they're keeping a hold of it. They're playing a bit of football, and they thoroughly deserve now to be winning 1-0.
Very quiet, very aggressive going for that ball. Stevens wins it from McGee. Long ball again from Woods, won by McCarthy. And a bit of elbowing by Kevin Drinkle, picked up by the referee. Celtic's free kick. McCarthy thinking about using Pat Bonner, then sees Ali McCoist in the way. Roy Aitken's the target. Got a touch on. Butcher into space on the Rangers left. There's McCarthy. Robbed by Drinkle. McCarthy battling to get it back. Derek White gives him some help. Well, Derek White did well once again for Celtic, and he's had a good match in central defence.
He certainly has. He's very tidy. He's sweeping up around Big McCarthy. He's let McCarthy go for most of the stuff, and White is doing the tidying up.
Pat Bonner taking all the time he can about bringing the ball out. Just headed. Here's Davy Cooper taking out Stevens. Walters breaks on the right. Peter Grant causing problems for Stevens. Butcher to Goff. Well, Celtic will not be unhappy about this, keeping the ball in the Rangers' half.
There was just no movement at all when Rangers picked the ball up. Everybody's just standing looking at the player with the ball. You know, they desperately need somebody in the middle of the field there who can go and get the ball. I mean, Wilkins obviously would have been the ideal man today. Ferguson is not there, so he's missing. And Graham SOUNESS, you know, the last card really that we've got to play. And I think Graham should get on there.
Well, Graham SOUNESS still resisting the temptation to go on the field. A free kick now to Rangers, which Davy Cooper will take. Goff and Butcher waiting at the corner of the box. Towards Goff. Back it goes to Walters. Bonner was down. It's hooked back in by McCoist. Up goes McCarthy. It stays clearance. And here's Roy Aitken now surging out of defence. Stopped by Ian Ferguson. Well, the Celtic defence moving very dangerously there. No question about that. Rangers taking great encouragement in that burst of activity around Pat Bonner. And Mick McCarthy won a vital high ball in the 6-yard box in the midst of all that action. There's McCoist. Drinkle to Walters. Here's Davy Cooper. Blocked by McCarthy. Cooper content to accept the throw. Here's Walters. Nodded out by McCarthy. Grant and Ian Ferguson together. McStay with a pass towards Miller. Here's McStay again. That was intended for Chris Morris on the break. Well, suddenly Rangers have picked up the pace a little. Cooper's the rival, has certainly done no harm at all. Here he goes again. Oh, brilliantly passed Roy Aitken. That's towards Drinkle. Derek White was there. And Bonner coming all the way out to catch it. Well, that was very determined play by Pat Bonner, but what a great cross this is. Look at this ball from Cooper now. Drinkle and Ian Ferguson open on the penalty spot, but he looked for Ali McCoist, who was in fact adjudged offside.
As you say, Cooper at least has come on and he's managed to find another blue jersey when he gets the ball. And that's just what Rangers have not been doing. They get it and just give it away. And it takes a player of class like David Cooper and a player with experience to say, okay, let's try and keep a hold of this ball. We've got it.
Well, that's the impressive aerial shot again on Hamden. No activity just for the moment, while Paul McStay gets some treatment. Well, he certainly is a player, perhaps the player, most of all, that Celtic will want to keep on the field. Graham SOUNESS doing the stretching exercises, which appear to indicate that he'll be involved in the play before very long. McStay back on his feet. Good leap there by Goff. This is Walters. Stevens goes outside him. Tackle came from Burns. It's a free kick, all right. Acknowledged by Burns instantly.
That's the first time we've seen Walters move to the right-hand side of the field, Jock. And, you know, I don't think that's a bad ploy at all. I think if he stayed out there, we might get a bit of joy.
Butcher making a run in the box as Cooper lines up the free kick. Peter Grant will have to retreat a yard or two before this can be taken. There's John Brown with a header. Well, Rangers throwing everything at the Celtic defence now. Davy Cooper so deadly from these set pieces, and Brown did well but couldn't keep it under the bar. Pat Bonner with Celtic's goal kick. Deep into the Rangers half it goes, won by Goff. Stays pass intercepted by Brown, and McCoist is offside. Very eager indeed, Ali McCoist, to get at the Celtic defence.
But he's not really had a pass worthy of the name today, has he? To really get him going. I suppose the one by Walters was a lovely little reverse pass that played him in just a little bit earlier there. It's about the only real contribution that's been made towards him.
Careless one by McCarthy, giving possession straight back to Rangers. Well, there's a welcome sight for Rangers supporters. Graham Souness preparing for the fray. Grant caught late by Ian Ferguson, and the referee is going to take some action here as Grant and Ian Ferguson square up. Roy Aitken quickly to the sea of the trouble to take Grant away, and the referee will now have words with Ian Ferguson, who certainly was the player who came in with that heavy late tackle, and he's going to be booked. The referee appears to be taking his time about this to let any tempers cool. Well, he certainly came in heavily on Peter Grant, and Roy Aitken deserves great credit for being so quickly involved in separating the players. There will now be the substitution made by Rangers. So here's what caused the problem between the players. It was played forward by Grant. There was Ferguson going in late, and Ferguson has been booked. Off goes Stuart Munro, and on goes the Rangers player manager Graham Souness. So Souness now organising the midfield. There are 21 minutes left of the 90 minutes as Souness takes the field. He'll no doubt have worked out that he could handle 30 minutes of extra time if required. And he's now organising the Rangers ranks for a late surge looking to save the cup final. And while Souness is coming on, the referee booked Peter Grant also for his involvement in the fray, for squaring up to Ian Ferguson. So Grant and Ferguson booked, now a total of 4 bookings in the match. Here's Ian Ferguson holding off McGee, looking for Walters. Brogan quite content to run the ball back. So Rangers have moved Ian Ferguson to a left centre of midfield position with Souness on his right. So it's Souness and Ian Ferguson holding the midfield now for Rangers, with Walters and Cooper wide on the flanks. Here's Joe Miller with Aitken. That's for Miller again. No offside flag. Back it goes to Aitken. The far post it goes. There goes Buns. Off the line by Stevens. Well, Gary Stevens redeeming himself after the error which gave Celtic the lead. A great ball this from Roy Aitken. Tommy Buns popping up at the far post, beating Woods, but Stevens was there. Walters and Buns clash. The result is a throw on the far side to Celtic. Play from Grant. The tackle came from Souness. This is Cooper. Making space for himself, showing his great skill and dexterity in possession. Good Butcher dumping it forward. Ian Ferguson has got forward now for about the first time in the match. Appear to be held by McCarthy. Held out by Burns. There's SOUNESS to Walters. Rogan makes the tackle. Back it goes to Gary Stevens. He's carried the ball over, it looked like it, but the referee waits play on as McCoy shoots it wide.
Well, the linesman kept the flag down, Jock, and it was a beautiful cutback. You've got to say that was a chance, wasn't it?
Well, there would have been some controversy there, I think, had that gone in, because it did appear to go over the byline before Stevens pulled it back. But George Dunbar, the linesman from East Kilbride, had a better view than we did, and he said it was all right. Interesting there, though, to see Ian Ferguson inside the Celtic box for about the first time in the match. The presence of Graham SOUNESS has made that possible.
We just haven't seen today at all any Rangers midfield player getting forward, Jock, have we? So they've got to do something desperate now, and as you say, Ferguson's got to start making some forward runs, because he knows that his boss is in there who can supply decent passes to him.
McCoy to Cooper. Another player that can supply good passes, Davy Cooper. SOUNESS racing in, and the clearing header came from Anton Rogan. Well, SOUNESS bursting into the box there. Up to collect the ball. Burns inside, there's Paul McStay, but quiet for the last little spell. Good pass though to Miller. Here's Peter Grant, and McStay again. Inside it comes to Grant. There's Burns and Miller. Chris Morris, challenged by Brown. The header from Butcher reaches Roy Aitken. Well, a misunderstanding there between Morris and Aitken, giving Rangers the throw. McCarthy guilty of pushing. Coist was the victim. Davy Cooper with a set piece once more, lofting that in towards Richard Gough. Challenged well by McCarthy. Here's Walters. And Walters touched it before it ran for the throw. Walters wants to debate the issue with the linesman George Dunbar, but the decision has been given Celtic's way with quarter of an hour of the match left. There's the scoreline: Celtic 1, Rangers 0. The scorer Joe Miller. And Rangers now having committed both substitutes. Graham SOUNESS is one of them. Tackled there by Burns. Butcher couldn't reach it. There's Burns. Crossfield it goes to Aitken. Burns again towards Chris Morris. Good defensive play there by Richard Gough. Intelligent reading of the play to come across and cut off Morris. Chris Woods waving the Rangers players forward. Celtic still have Billy Stark and young Steve Fulton in reserve. SOUNESS to Stevens. SOUNESS once again. Playing it through as Aitken challenged him. Well, we know that Graham SOUNESS has been a player of the highest class, but to come in at this stage in a cup final, it must be very difficult indeed. Oh,
it's difficult for him. There's no two ways about that. But I mean, the situation was desperate, and it called for desperate measures. That's why he's there.
Joe Miller's pass is left by Aitken for Morris. Aitken will take it again. Possession play by Celtic. McStay made the run. Brown will prevent McStay reaching it, and that is a goal kick to Rangers. Well, at a stage in the match when the players will be entitled to be feeling the pace. Playing a cup final like this in the sun, stamina now becoming an important issue.
I'm just wondering now if the Rangers' strength, because they are, I think, a stronger side, physically a stronger side, if it might tell in this last 15 minutes, Joe.
They still have to find the way through the Celtic defence, which has played very well indeed this afternoon. Rangers get the throw this time. Here's SOUNESS. There's Stevens. Well, that's good play by the fullback. The pass finds Cooper. Halted there by White. Chance now for Celtic on the break with Grant. Goff collects it as it goes towards Joe Miller through the middle. John Brown. Good play by Brown. McCoist back to Ferguson. Here's Davy Cooper. On his left foot. Blocked by White. Appeals to handball. Waved aside. Referee deciding the ball played the man. No deliberate intention. Joe Miller holding play up with Celtic in possession. Careless one inside. Rogan and Walters miss the ball. That will be a throw. And I fancy it'll go to Celtic. Gary Stevens doing well, winning possession for Rangers. Here's Goff. McCoist beaten by McCarthy. This is SOUNESS holding off Grant. This is Mark Walters. Wrinkles control. Inside is McCoist. Tackled by McCarthy as Aiken who breaks clear. Bonds in the middle, McGee's on the left, Miller on the right. McGee being hustled by Stevens, but he has kept possession well. This is Paul McStay. Well, this will be tiring for the Rangers players as Celtic keep possession. Given away by Morris to Butcher. This is Cooper. Now Butcher. Stevens to SOUNESS. Played forward for Walters. And Graham SOUNESS hangs his head there in disappointment about the quality of the pass.
The game's really opened up in midfield now, Jock, for both sides. We're getting a lot more space in there for people to play.
Richard Goff now coming forward. We'll see him a great deal, I think, in attack now for Rangers in the closing stages. Good pass from Morris. Here's Roy Aiken holding off Cooper. We're giving Miller to make a run, which he does willingly. Long left leg of Butcher comes in to concede the throw. 10 minutes remaining, 1-0 to Celtic. Joe Miller playing it back. Cooper wins it. They appear to be fouled by McStay. So a free kick to Rangers. Trailing by 1-0, as are Everton at Wembley. It's Liverpool who lead by John Aldridge's early goal. There's Gary Stevens, who won a cup medal for Everton in 1984. Ian Ferguson, who won one for St Mirren 2 years ago. Here's Walters. Good flowing move this from Rangers. Fine cross and excellent goalkeeping by Bonner. Well, Pat Bonner celebrates his 29th birthday next week, and his experience called upon here with an excellent decision and a good piece of handling. Butcher's header. There's Davy Cooper and SOUNESS. Pass finds Walters. Oh, they showed enough of the ball to Anton Rogan. Well, the clock, the enemy now for Rangers, as they throw everything forward in an attempt to level the match. There's Gary Stevens, that came off Tommy Burns. Drinkle's header, agonisingly across the face of the goal, and turned away brilliantly there by White. Too long for Bonner. Drinkle did well, a looping header back over Pat Bonner. Oh, look how well Derek White does here, escorting the ball to safety. And Chris Morris is on the ground, he's in trouble. Well, Morris was challenging Kevin Drinkle for the high ball when he came by that injury. What a great ball it was. Drinkle going up, there was Morris landing very awkwardly. Ian Ferguson couldn't make it as White escorted it away. Billy McNeill looking on anxiously from the track. Celtic very happy and relieved to have this goal kick. Richard Goss header, letting Drinkle chase. Morris shows that he's recovered fully. A good bit of sprint and header. Goss header controlled by SOUNESS. Here's Brown. Good lay-off from Ferguson to find SOUNESS. Now Goff under pressure from Grant. Celtic working very hard indeed to close down areas for the Rangers players to exploit. Here's Butcher. Back it goes to Goff. Mark McGee chasing. Here's Brown. Now it's Joe Miller's turn to come across. Cooper under pressure from Roy Aitken. There's Goff again. Now Stevens. SOUNESS wants the ball in the middle. Tackled firmly by McStay.
When you say SOUNESS wanted the ball in the middle, he didn't want it like that.
Well, it's something of a hefty challenge from Paul McStay. A fair one at that. 5 minutes remaining. Celtic desperately trying to hang on as Rangers throw everything at them. Good play by McGee, and Miller is offside. Chris Woods making sure there can be no time wasting. Graham Souness has waved Goff forward into attack. McCarthy coming for it. There's Butcher. Now McCoist. There was no offside flag. That was Rangers' best chance of the match. The ball going high from McCarthy. Butcher wins this superbly. It goes straight through to Ali McCoist, normally so deadly, and he slices it all over the bar.
Well, you get the feeling after that one that certainly it's not Rangers' day. That was the chance of the game. Ali McCoist has had two chances really in the last 10 minutes, and that the better of him, and really truly he will hang his head in shame if they don't score before the 90 minutes are up.
Yeah, Celtic may indeed be thinking about the champagne now with that miss from Ali McCoist. SOUNESS left back all by himself in the middle now. He's pushed Butcher and Goff forward. SOUNESS now playing a kind of centre-half role with Stevens and Brown beside him on the flanks. But desperation now for Rangers, with the two central defenders up in attack. Stevens returning it to Pat Bonner. Pat Bonner getting that stern lecture from Bob Valentine, the referee, about time wasting a moment ago. And there was an offside flag up against Roy Aitken. He's questioning the linesman about that. Does it appear to be correct? So Graham SOUNESS now with the free kick. Here's John Brown. Butcher up with the attack again. Anton Rogan's headed out. Here's Gary Stevens preparing to launch the long throw into the box, looking for Butcher and Goff. There's Butcher. It will not count. There was a foul on Pat Bonner as the ball was in the air. He was taken out of the play. This will be clear, I'm sure, from the replay. Just watch Pat Bonner here for this. There's Davy Cooper backing into him, and that's why the goal has been chopped off.
Well, really, it was a silly back-in by Cooper, because when you looked at it there, I don't think the goalkeeper was really going to get to the ball anyway.
McGee going up with Stevens. There's Miller. Now Barnes. Ian Ferguson getting back. White and Drinkle chase, so does Goff. And Derek White once again steps in with a decisive header back to Bonner. He really has been a rock for Celtic in the second half. Touchdown again by McGee. There was Stevens. Here's Roy Aitken. Taking the ball wide. The Celtic players in the box looking for a cross. Aitken prefers to accept the corner kick. That was quite deliberate. Playing the ball off Stevens. They can take a corner kick now in leisurely fashion and waste more precious seconds. Davy Cooper wins it for Rangers, and Cooper brings down Peter Grant off the ball. More time wasted. The linesman brought that to the attention of the referee. Now I wonder if any more action apart from a free kick will be taken after this. And there's going to be a booking, and it will be for Davy Cooper, who did appear to trip Peter Grant when the ball was away, giving vent to his frustration about the state of affairs at the moment. It looks good now for Celtic as time ticks on. Cooper did well here. Well, let's see what he did. Well, there was the incident. And it's given a free kick to Celtic also. Discussion between McStay and Aitken about this free kick. Well, that was clearly deliberate also. That allows Celtic to regroup on the halfway line, waiting for this final whistle. We've had a minute of time added on. The award has been handed up, but Joe Miller wins the Man of the Match award. The referee checking his watch, the Celtic fans whistling for time up. There's McStay, tackled firmly by SOUNESS, but it's still Paul McStay going forward. Here's Joe Miller, the Mr. Superfit of the Cup final. And just with that, he shows how tired he's become, tripping over the ball. And there goes the final whistle. Celtic have won the Cup. Billy McNeil hugs Penny Rooney in delight. The treble hopes of Rangers are dashed.
McNeil, Celtic, you've regained the cup. What a match it was, what a struggle.
Well, it was never a classic, Jim, but obviously right to this particular minute, that doesn't matter. It wasn't the most classical game we've seen. We defended well when we had to, and we scored the goal that was important, so there you go.
How much satisfaction, Billy, does it give you now that you've ruined Rangers' treble hopes?
Well, I'm not really concerned about that, Jim. I'm more concerned our fans have won something, the team's won something. We went to the European Cup Winners' Cup as cup winner, and that was what was important. We had to work hard to do it, we've achieved it.
Which of your own players would you single out, Billy?
Well, I think the back four played well throughout, and I've obviously got to say that McCarthy and Derek White were tremendous in the heart of our defence, because they put a lot of pressure on with high balls, not particularly skillful, but a lot of high balls, and those two dealt with them well.
Did you think it was always going to take a mistake to lead to a goal?
Well, you've always got to be alert for a mistake. We always felt we might pressurise them into making one, and little Joe finished off magnificently.
Billy, congratulations, back to Jock Brown.
Thanks very much, John.
Delighted Billy McNeil with Jim White, and the Celtic celebrations go on, and Rangers, it must be said, are showing great sportsmanship as they shake the hands of the Celtic players. And the news from Wembley is that Everton have equalised right at the death as Liverpool won, Everton won at Wembley, but here at Hampden Park, it's Celtic who have won the cup for the 29th time in their history. They won by 1 goal to nil. Graham SOUNESS has taken that very well indeed, I have to say. He's gone round the Celtic players with a handshake. They'll be very disappointed indeed that the treble has not been achieved. And there's the Celtic reaction to their historic victory. So there's David Murray, Ian Durrant rather, who's gone onto the field with the Rangers players on his crutches. Durant joining the Rangers players. They're saluting their own supporters at the moment. What an emotional setting it is. There's Billy McNeil shaking hands with officials. Lex Bailey, who wasn't involved in the final, one of the standby players, shaking his manager's hand. So Celtic, whose recent cup record has been so much better than Rangers, enjoying this occasion once again. The 104th cup final, the 13th Old Firm Cup final. The Celtic now winning 7 of them to Rangers 5, with one cup being withheld in 1909 because of crowd trouble. Happily none of that this afternoon. So the Celtic fans reacting to the cameras as you would expect. It's extra time now at Wembley, but there's no need for that thanks to Joe Miller here at Hampden. Disappointment for these Rangers players. Terry Butcher always takes defeat to heart. Richard Gough also giving him a few consoling words. Terry Butcher losing his first ever major final. He's won 2 Scot Cup finals and a UEFA Cup for Ipswich Town. But it's the Celtic fans who can savour the moment. Paul McStay, who was such a vital influence in midfield, has removed his boots for the moment. Presentations will commence very shortly, but the Celtic players milking the reaction of their fans. The cup waiting there with the SFA Secretary Ernie Walker. The green and white ribbons have already been put in position. Tommy Craig with Mark McGee, who didn't find the net on his birthday, but he'll remember his 32nd birthday for the rest of his life, you can be sure of that. His 4th Cup Winners' Medal. 3 for Aberdeen, 1 here for Celtic this afternoon. He was involved last year too, was on the bench last year for Celtic. So this Rangers players trooping up to take their runners-up medals. Ally McCoy's head hanging, very upset indeed. So keen to win his first Scottish Cup medal. John Brown and Graham SOUNESS bringing up the rear. So here's Terry Butcher. Well, this is not the way he expected to be coming up. The medals presented by the wife of Ernie Walker, Mrs. Anne Walker. The SFA is secretly getting the honour of having his wife present these medals and the Scottish Cup because of his last ever Scottish Cup as secretary. The Rangers players trooping through. Their faces tell the story. They've lost the cup final. It's clear from all these bitterly disappointed faces. There's no question of them providing tremendous effort. But on the day it wasn't enough. There's Graham SOUNESS taking it in good spirit, although inside, no doubt, full of disappointment. These Rangers fans remaining still not seeing the end of the cup as they hoped and expected. But the presentation now for Celtic. Players being waved up by the captain, Roy Aitken. So here come the Celtic players being grouped there as Tommy Burns and Peter Grant salute their fans at the far corner of the field. Brian Scott goes to retrieve them. They've got to go and get their winners' medals. Tommy Burns bowing before the adoring Celtic fans. Billy McNeill will enjoy this to the full. You can be sure of that with his number 2, Tommy Craig, who's been so influential in putting the Celtic team together with Billy McNeill. So here the smiling figure of Roy Aitken. What a contrast now as Roy Aitken goes up to collect the Scottish Cup. Congratulations of the Celtic fans. The chairman, Jack McGinn, leans across to have a word with his captain. And a smile of contentment there for Billy McNeill as the Celtic players pass the cup down the line. Chris Morris there. Will it be his last match for Celtic? Paul McStay, such a fine player on this big occasion. Mike McCarthy also, tower of strength in defence. There's a moment for young Steve Fulton to remember. He wasn't on the field, but he's substitute. There are the Celtic fans. So it goes right down the line. Billy Stark with the goal scorer. There he is, Joe Miller. He scored in 41 minutes. Peter Grant holding the cup aloft. Then it's with Tommy Burns. Time for a thought for Gary Stevens, who made the mistake for Joe Miller's goal. So it's Celtic who won the cup. We're taking a short break now. We'll be right back, so don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment.